I am Mr. Sandeep Dattatreya Kardile, M.Pharm Pharmaceutics, lecturer, Mula Rural Institute of Pharmacy, Sonai, and I am giving presentation on size separation part 2. First of all, contents: cyclone separator, year separator, and illiteration methods. Cyclone separator. So this is the figure of cyclone separator. On upper part there is a tangential inlet, then fluid outlet, on lower side solid outlet. Principle: in cyclone separator, the centrifugal force is used to separate solids from fluids. The separation depends not only on the particle size but also on the density of particles. Hence, depending on the fluid velocity, the cyclone separator can be used to separate all types of particles or to remove only coarse particles and allow the fine particles to be carried through with the fluid. Construction: it consists of cylindrical vessel with conical base. In the upper part of the vessel, it is fitted with a tangential inlet and fluid outlet, and at the base it is fitted with solid outlet. Working: the suspension of a solid in gas, usually air, is introduced tangentially at a very high velocity so that rotary movement takes place within the vessel. The fluid is removed from a central outlet at the top. The rotatory flow within the cyclone separator causes the particles to be acted on by centrifugal force. The solids are thrown out to the walls. Thereafter, it falls to the conical base and discharged out through solids outlet. Uses: cyclone separators are used to separate the suspension of a solid in a gas, that is air. It can be used with liquid suspensions of solids. Next, air separator. This is the diagram of air separator. On upper part, feed inlet, below that rotating disc, then rotating blades inside, on lower side outlet for fine particles, then second outlet for heavy particles. Principle: it works on the same principle as that of cyclone separator, but in this case the air movement is obtained by means of rotating disc and blades. To improve the separation, the stationary blades are used. By controlling these blades and the speed of rotation, it is possible to vary the size at which separation occurs. Construction: it consists of a cylindrical vessel with a conical base. In the upper part of the separator, the vessel is fitted with the feed inlet, and at the base there are two outlets, one for line particles and other for heavy particles. The rotating disc and the rotating blades are attached to the central shaft to produce air movement. Working: as shown in figure, the sample powder is passed through the feed inlet which falls on the rotating disc. The rotating blades are attached to the same shaft. This produces a current of air as shown by the arrows. The fine particles are picked up and are carried into space where air velocity is sufficiently reduced. The fine particles are dropped and ultimately collected at an outlet meant for fine particles. The heavy particles which fall downward are removed at an outlet meant for heavy particles. Uses: air separator is often attached to the ball mill or hammer mill to separate and return oversized particles for further size reduction. Then, illiteration method. So this is the diagram of illiteration tank to which cocks are fitted at different stages. The size separation of powder is based on the low density of fine particles and high density of the coarse particles. Illiterating tank is used to separate the coarse and fine particles of powder after levitation. The dry powder or pust made by levitation process is kept in an illiterating tank and mixed with a large quantity of water. The solid particles are uniformly distributed in the liquid by stirring, and then it is allowed to settle down. Depending on the density of solid particles, it will either settle down or remain suspended in water. The sample is withdrawn at different heights through tap. These are dried and thus powder with various size fractions are collected nowadays in illiteration process. The particles are suspended in a moving fluid, generally water or air. The apparatus consists of vertical column with an inlet near the bottom of suspension, an outlet at the base for coarse particles, and an overflow near the top for fluid and fine particles. One column will give single separation into two fractions. If more than one fraction is required, a number of tubes of increasing area of cross section can be connected in series. The velocity of fluid decreases in succeeding tubes as the area of cross section increases, thus giving a number of fractions. These fractions are separated and tried. So this is a diagram of illiteration and multi-stage illiterator. Upper part fluid and fine particles, so it can be settled there, and supervision of solids can be done by another part. So when series collected illiteration tanks, how it look like, it is also shown in the figure. One is illiteration and another is multi-stage illiterator. Advantages of illiteration method: the process is continuous depending on number of fractions required. The same number of tubes of different area of cross section can be connected. The separation is quick as compared to other methods of separation. The apparatus is more compact than as that used in sedimentation methods. Disadvantage: the main disadvantage of this method is that suspension of solid particles has to be diluted, which may not be desired in certain cases. Lastly, thank you.